Hello students, have a great day. Welcome back to our online session. Today we are going to start our fifth unit, that is memory management. It having 14 marks for MSBT exam. In previous chapter, we will see the CPU scheduling. In that, all the processes are scheduled before execution of that. So, for the execution, we required some memory. So, let's learn how to manage this memory in the fifth unit, that is memory management. Now we are discussing the chapter objectives. In that, to introduce basics of memory management. Then to explain characteristics of the memory management techniques. Likewise, single memory management, fixed partition memory management, variable partitioner memory management, likewise. And last, to describe various page replacement algorithms. These algorithms are used to manage the memory. So let's start our fifth unit. The first point of this unit, it is the basic memory management. So in this chapter, the various ways for memory management. The memory management algorithms vary from a primitive bare machines approach to paging and segmentation strategies. Each approach has its own advantages and disadvantages. Memory management is the functionality of an operating system which handles or manages primary memory and moves processes back and forth between main memory and disk during the execution. Memory management keeps track of each and every memory location, regardless of either it is allocated to some processes or it is free. It checks how much memory is to be allocated to a processes. It decides which process will get memory at what time. It tracks whenever some memory gets freed or unallocated, and correspondingly it updates the status. So in short, memory is a large array of word or byte, each with its own address. Its traction is achieved through a sequence of reads and writes to specific memory addresses. The responsibility or functions of memory management lie to keep track of all memory locations, whether it is free or allocated. If it is allocated, then to which process it is allocated and how much memory locations are allocated to it. Next functionality, to decide the memory allocation policy, that is which process should get how much memory, when and where. Next, to use various techniques and algorithms to allocate and deallocate memory locations. Normally, this is achieved with the help of some special hardware. In basic memory management, the complete image of process is loaded in memory at one place or different place. The different memory management for these schemes are single continuous memory management, fixed partition memory management, variable partition memory management. The schemes reflect various approaches to memory management, and the effectiveness of the different algorithms depend on particular situation. Selection of memory management scheme for a specific system depends upon many factors, but especially upon the hardware design of the system. Basic hardware required for the different schemes like its bare machine, resident monitor, likewise. The bare machine, there is no simplest memory management scheme available. The user is provided with the bare machine and has complete control over the entire memory space. Resident monitor, it is a simple scheme which divides memory into two sections, one for the user and one for the resident monitor of the operating system. Next, we will see the next point, that is the partition. Partitioning is a logical division of a hard disk that is treated as a separate unit by operating system. These partitions are decided at the time of system generation, means operating system installation. This allows the drive to operate as several smaller sections to improve efficiency, although it reduces usable space on the hard disk because of additional overhead from multiple operating systems. Partitioning is useful for multi-programming environment. It is easy to access data from partitioning. In short, dividing the memory into various sections of the different size is known as partitioning. Like when we install our operating system, we are divide entire memory into various sections like our drives. It's a C drive, E drive, D drive. In C drive, we store all the softwares which is needed to run our operating system. These partitions are decided at the time of system generation. Once these partitions are decided, then they cannot be changed. It's a permanent. System generation is a process of specifying various requirements of the operating system. So there are two types of partitioning, that is static partitioning or fixed partitioning, and second dynamic partitioning or variable partitioning. In static partitioning, the starting address of every partition is fixed, and in dynamic partitioning, the starting address of every partitioning is not fixed. Now we will see the details of this partitioning. So memory management, it having two types, that is the static partitioning, or it is also called as a fixed size partitioning. Second, that is the dynamic partitioning, or it is also called as variable size partitioning. Now we will see the static partitioning or fixed size partitioning. In this partitioning, number of partitions in RAM are fixed, but the size of each partitioning may or may not be same. Here, partitioning are made before execution or during system configuration. For example, operating system installation. Once the system generation process is over, the partitioning cannot be changed, and hence they are called as a static or fixed partitioning. Initially, all the partitions are free. Whenever any process is loaded in the free partitioning, its status is changed from free to allocated. So in simple language, system generation is a process in which various requirements of OS are specified. Once the system generation process is over, partitioning cannot be changed, and hence they are called as fixed partitioning. For the fixed size partitioning, the operating system create a table that is called as a partition description table, that is a PDT table. This table is used for future use, which shows the current partitioning status and its attributes. Like this, it is one example. In this example, it is a memory, it having 6 processes, that is a P0, P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5, and it is the partition description table for this memory. It shows the future use which show the current partitioning status. Here, first P0 process is allocated for the 100 MB size, and it is allocated for the operating system softwares. Partitioning description table contain partition ID, starting address, size and status. So partition IDs of these processes consider as a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So let's start the first process. For the first process, how to show in this table? It is a P0. It's a partition ID is 0. Starting address of this P0 process is 0, and total size of this process, it is 100 because of 0 to 100. So size of this process is 100, and status, it is allocated. Second process, that is a P1 process. So ID of this process is 1. Starting address of this is 100 and size is 200 MB because the starting address is 100 and the end of this process, it is a 300 MB. So total size of this process is a 200 MB, and it is a status of this is allocated. It is the graphical notation is lined up portion. It is denoted as a free, and whole empty space, it shows the allocation. So next process, the process P2, it is the ID of this is P2 and it indicate process A. Its a starting address is 300 and ending 400. So total size of this process required 100 MB and its status is allocated. Likewise, process P3, its ID is 3, starting address is 400, end with 700. So total size is 300 and status is allocated. Next, P4, its ID is 4, starting address is 700 and ending is 800. So it required 100 MB and its status is free. And last, that is a P5, its ID is 5 and its starting address is 800 and end with 1000. So it required total 200 MB and its status is allocated. To allocate a partitioning to a process, there are two methods. How to allocate the partitioning? These processes are allocated a section, a part of memory. There are two methods to how to allocate the partitioning. That is multiple queue and single queue. First, that is a multiple queue. In this method, depending upon the number of partitioning, the number of queues are maintained. If the partitions are n, then n queues are maintained. So in multiple queues, if there are n partitioning, then n number of queues are maintained. For example, if there are 5 partitioning, so it required 5 queues. So let's explain one example. A Q0 will maintain the size of process from 0 to k. It is a Q0, it having a memory partitioning 1k, 2k, 2k, 1k. So the total size of this is from 0 to 2k. Q1 will maintain the size of processes from 6 to 8. How to decide the size of memory? Take the queue's smallest and greatest value. Between that, we take the size of that memory. So Q1 will the size of 6k to 8k, and Q2 will maintain the size of process 3 to 5k. Depending upon the size, the processes are transferred to an appropriate queue. The process from appropriate queue are loaded in the appropriate partition. The problem with multiple queue is that if there are large number of small processes, then small process queue will be filled completely and the larger process queue will remains empty. Therefore, to avoid this problem, a common or single queue is maintained. So for this queue, it required 2K memory. For Q1, it required 8K and Q2, it required 5K. So in Q1, only one partitioning it required 8K and other are required less than 8. So here the waste of memory is. So avoid this problem, single queue is maintained. In single queue, only one queue is maintained for the process of any size. Depending upon the first bit, base bit and worst bit strategy, the processes from the single unified queues are allocated to any free partitioning. Here, all size of memory required only one queue, the 2K, 8K and 5K. Same example, here we required a multiple queue and in single queue we required only one queue. The advantages and disadvantages of static partitioning or fixed size partitioning. Advantages: allocation and deallocation both are faster due to PDT table. Partition descriptor table is maintained. Once decided, the partitions are fixed, they cannot be changed. Disadvantages: the main drawback of this method is memory wastage. Just we see the multiple queue. In this method, a larger partition is allocated to a process. The remaining free space cannot be allocated to other process. Therefore, it remains wasted and it is called as the internal fragmentation. Second, if the processes are very large, then the number of partitions may become insufficient to hold the number of processes. These are some advantages and disadvantages. Next, we will see the next method, that is the dynamic partitioning or variable size partitioning. In this type of memory management scheme, the partitions are not created at runtime. In this type of memory management scheme, the partitions are created at runtime. Means it is not fixed. In static partitioning, they are fixed and it is created at the runtime. And those partitioning are created at the system generation. That is, whenever the process wants memory allocation, at that time partition is equals to the size of process is created. That partition is created of the size of process. The working of variable partitioning memory management or dynamic memory partitioning is explained. The partition size varies according to the need of processes so that the internal fragmentation can be avoided to ensure efficient utilization of RAM. The main drawback of static partitioning is internal fragmentation, because if the process is having large, at that time the memory was insufficient, that is called as the internal fragmentation. But here the partition size varies according to the need of process so that the internal fragmentation can be avoided. The number of partitions in RAM is not fixed and depends on the number of incoming processes and main memory size. Let's take one example. Here there are 8 figures that shows the dynamic partitioning. Initially, when the system is started and only partition of the operating system is created which is equal to its size. It is shown in this figure. Initially, when we start our operating system or machine, at that time only one partitioning is here, that is the operating system, which is denoted in this image, that is the A. After that, a process 1 is executed, another partition of size P1 is created as shown in figure B. In next image, the process P1 is get executed, so operating system and next section or partition is a P1, which is shown in this figure B. After some time, user executes the process P2 and another partitioning of size P2 is created, which is shown in figure C. After some time, process P3 is executed and partition of size equal to P3 is created, which is shown in figure D. After this, process P1 requires I/O operations and hence it is swapped out from the memory and a free partitioning of size equal to P is created, which is shown in figure E. In this figure, here P1 is getting executed, but instantly P1 requires some I/O operations, so it is swapped out from the memory. So the partition of this is equal to P1 processes is get free. At this stage, another process P4 wants to execute, but the size of P4 is greater than pre-partitioning. Greater than free partition after P3 and is less than the free partition created by P1. Therefore, P4 is loaded in pre-partitioning left by P1, so it will create partitioning size of P4 and another free partitioning is created between P4 and P2. Here P1 is swapped out from memory, but its created partitioning is free. After that, P4 will enter in the system, but the size of P1 and size of P4 is not equal. P4 is greater than P1. So how to fit here P4? For that, P4 required more partitioning. At that time, it creates a free partitioning between P4 and P2. It is called as a compassion. Here we see the compassion, which is shown in figure F. After some time, P2 is terminated. Therefore, free partitioning about P2 and space left by the P2 are combined to form a large free partitioning, which is shown in figure G. Now, process P1 has completed its I/O operation and a new process P5 wants execute. Therefore, both processes are loaded in memory, which is shown in figure H, that is P1 and P5. Initially, there were only 2 partitions and dynamically 6 partitions have been created as illustrated. In variable partitioning memory management, it is very difficult to maintain information in partitioning descriptor table because the partitioning varies every time. Therefore, the information is maintained as a bitmap or a linked list. Advantages of maintaining information in bitmap is that bitmaps are very fast for deallocation, but they are slow for allocation, while linked lists are very fast for the allocation, but are slow for the deallocation. The bitmap and linked list, they are the free space management techniques which we will see in next lecture. So advantages and disadvantages of dynamic partitioning. Advantages: no internal fragmentation, because in dynamic partitioning the partitions are created at the runtime and the partitioning size is the equal to the process size, so no internal fragmentation. Next, no restriction on degree of multiprogramming, means information of partitioning descriptor table is maintained in bitmap or linked list, which are very easy to maintain and implement. No need to specify the partition at the time of system generation. It is very flexible as compared to fixed partitioning memory management. No limitation on the size of processes. Next, disadvantages. Difficult implementation, because it is generated or created at the runtime, so it is very difficult to implement. Next, there is a external fragmentation. Information cannot be maintained in PDD table, so there is an external fragmentation, that is some small partitions remain unutilized. To overcome this problem of external fragmentation, the technique of compassion is used, where compassion, the free size of two processes combined together, that is called as a compassion. It is a overcome the problem of external fragmentation. So in this lecture we will see the basic of memory management, and there are two types of partitioning. Memory partitioning, it is divide the memory into various sections of the different size is called as a partitioning. There are two types or techniques, that is a static partitioning and dynamic partitioning. Static partitioning is fixed, and dynamic partitioning, it is a variable in size. Thank you.